党的旗帜王啊，满皇上的徽牌随了整个当朝，金钱看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的30。
Hi you guys. So, really not sure if I should show this to you guys. The last month of Mirage, I went cooking and came up with something that is just too unreal. Then I've read the patch notes and got stupidly surprised that my plan got even a bigger buff through them. Before we start, you guys remembering the fastest build in PoE history? The Lightning Warp Tornado Shot Deadeye? If not, stop this video for a sec and watch the YouTube video. I'm sure you will find it. Pretty insane speed, right? And you also know Bladefall of Thratos mana stacking builds, right? As the current most strongest build in the game. So now, what would happen if these two builds made a baby, combining these two insane builds into one, without any downside? You guessed it. It's for real and freaky disgusting. I would probably be better off not showing this public, but here we are. Are you guys prepared for huge AoE, lightning fast movement speed, DPS that explodes entire screens, and big EHP? Get ready.
Let me go.
Yeah, what shall I say? Pretty sweet, right? Sadly, my PC has a hard time handling this build while recording a video. Without me recording, the build runs much smoother and even faster. Oh, and did I mention that this build has also more item quant than the previous version? In fact, the base IIQ has gone up to 190% base and peaks at 230% IIQ. Hands down, this is the most effective and powerful mapper PoE might have ever seen as for today. Of course, I'm aware of the fact that people want to copy my build, and here comes the second reason, besides GGG seeing this, why I feel a bit hesitant to show this build. With Mirage not going core and synthesized items becoming legacy, it's overall much harder to obtain certain items. But still, it's possible. Just be aware that this build is packed with legacy items now. Before we take a look, let's just enjoy another map quickie.
You are not conquering the Atlas. It is conquering you.
Refreshing. So, there are three kinds of build-enabling items here. The helmet provides 30% reduced lightning warp duration. Less duration means that lightning warp can be used more often per second, if we have the required cast speed to reach the limit, which is set through the duration. The gloves have quant and provide more cast speed. Lightning warp gem goes in here. To ease attribute requirements, they also provide strength and dex, which lets us slap down more tattoos on the tree and provide overall more attribute points than pure int would. Both items can be mirrored through my mirror shop. And then, yeah, screams of the desecrated. This will probably be the biggest stepping stone, since prices have just gone mad. The required mod here is Echoing Shrine, which grants 100% more cast speed. It also grants skills repeat an additional time, which would have probably bugged out the build, but luckily this mod doesn't apply to Lightning Warp, since it's not an instant teleport. So the additional repeat can't happen, since the first instance is still active. If you really want to empty your bank, you can go with Massive Shrine as a second mod. But I couldn't afford this, and I'm very pleased with Replenishing Shrine. So, perfect time to take a look at the problems that need to be addressed to take this build off the ground. Since there's no Mage Blood, and Flask usage is a big no-no, we lose the reduced mana cost mod from Flasks. A good portion can be buffered through the third ring slot, but still the build will not even be close to 0% mana cost. The tree nodes have been reworked to mana cost efficiency, breaking the possibility to reach 0% mana cost through tree nodes. So, if you can get your hands on now legacy reduced mana cost jewels, it's a good point in time and a good way. But breaking the 0% mana cost barrier is actually not needed at all. With a huge mana pool there comes great mana regeneration, which can balance out the cost per second from Bladefall. And Replenishing Shrine is pure grace here. Other than that, Weapon is now a required sword with an abyssal socket and turned into Energy Blade. Body armor is all your favorite piece of gear, and the amulet is of course the Foulborn Core of the Storm. The shield is pretty new on the market and very desirable for this build, since it provides frenzy charges and therefore more cast speed. Boots provide onslaught and tailwind for additional cast speed and movement speed. And on the rings I have Quant, reduced mana cost, and Int with two very lucky reflecting mist legacy rolls. Aspect of the Cat can be activated also, since the reservation isn't a big deal. 5 times Writhing Jar, which can be activated to get Onslaught, Tailwind, Arcane Surge, Leech or % mana on kill, if needed. The passive tree is nearly the same as my last version. On my Watcher's Eye, the second mod comes in handy for this build, since it can pump up the mana fast when casting Lightning Warp multiple times a second, if you have negative mana regeneration. I switched to Chieftain to unlock Explode for this build. Monsters that get killed through the explosions of other monsters doesn't benefit from the item quantity support gem, but that's fine for me, since the build runs a third quant ring, which counts globally. Therefore, Forbidden Flame and Flesh have been switched to allocate Unyielding. The magic jewels have nearly all been replaced with synthesized ones, with attack and cast speed during Onslaught, also helping out for the cast speed for Lightning Warp. Let's take a look at the gem setup. Weapon is just Energy Blade with Empowered. On the shield I'm running a cast when damage taken setup, supported with Hex Bloom. But this is optional. You can also go for a face run setup here, for example. With its +2 to AoE gems, the helmet houses Val Clarity, Precision, and Val Haste for additional cast speed. The chest holds the Playful of Thratos setup, supported with Power Charge on crit. Annihilation support has been added to guarantee full clean clearance, but can also be swapped for Arcane Surge support, if needed for bossing, for example. Like already mentioned, the gloves hold the Lightning Warp setup, supported with Swift Affliction. Last, on the boots, I have Arcane Cloak, supported with more duration. If you desire, you can swap out the automation for a 2020 more duration support here, especially when your mana sustain is a problem. To take a closer look, the POB link is in the video description. And I'm also working on an in-depth guide, which I will provide as a Google Sheet, with all the necessary background informations and gear choices. So let's continue blasting a bit.
This is a privilege, not a prize. Leave it behind.
I hope you enjoyed this one. Feel free to leave me your feedback in the comments. Looking forward for all your bug chest fans out there. Like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the next one. I still have something up my sleeves that you might like if you enjoy pure, uncompromised speed. Till then, see you in the next one.